A stock Polaris Xpedition XP5 Northstar is an awesome vehicle for both work and exploration. But this beast is a cut above. The guys at Fueled UTV have built this Xpedition into the ultimate multi-purpose machine. This new build is personally owned and designed by Fueled UTV's co-owner Travis, and he's gonna give us a build breakdown. Stay tuned. Hey, well, this is a pretty awesome setup, Travis.
Man, I tell you what, it sure is. I've been waiting to do this for a long time.
Me too.
You know, this thing is definitely a unique machine. I would say the closest thing to this for me has been the General. We've done a General build in the past. And one thing I've always said to the guys in the shop, and I've talked a lot about, is, man, how cool would it be to have a General with a tight sealed up cab and AC?
Right. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, give us all an overview of the platform, and then what the goal was to kind of, with all of the upgrades we've done.
Yeah, so we were super excited to get our hands on one of these Expeditions. We've always built for ourselves mainly sport machines, but you know, it's you get into the middle of summer, and you know, it's 100 degrees out.
Right.
The dust is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I've been in a Ranger. I've been in a Defender with AC in the summertime, and it's like, holy cow, you can't beat that. This is really the first machine that I have owned, is, in my opinion, a true year-round machine for me and my family. I'll tell you, this thing's gonna get used. It's just gonna get used a lot more. Yeah. It's a lot more comfortable for the family than any of the, you know, the high-performance sport machines that I've had in the past.
Right. Well, let's start with all of the exterior modifications first. I mean, the thing that screams out to me first is obviously the wrap.
Yeah. So we work with ECD Wraps out of Utah, and they design all of our wraps. They've been doing it for us for years now. Eric at ECD Wraps, he speaks our language when it comes to design, and we just love it. We get tons of compliments on the designs.
Moving on from there, we got the roof rack and the tent.
Definitely knew that we wanted to do the Polaris tent, and so we went ahead and used the Rhino rack. Yep. That Polaris offers, and you know, it's made for this tent, so we knew we weren't going to have any issues. It's green.
Yes, it has to be green.
I didn't plan that, but we popped it out and it's green, so
I'm very
even
glad
better.
It's green.
Man, we were blown away by how comfortable it is. I mean, there's actually what would you say, 4-inch thick mattress up there?
3 or 4 inch. Yep. Moving on from there, we have some awesome stuff from AJK on the front there.
Yeah, our friends over at AJK have been working really hard, pumping out some really cool stuff for this Expedition. Starting with the front grille, it's a super clean, easy install. It's still a quick release system. He already had the color match perfect for this, and as well as the other colors. The other thing that he sent us was his inner fender guards. Yep. They've got a AJK badge in them. Of course, we had to, you know, powder coat that green as well.
Good.
So, you know, the inner fender guards have really become a critical component. And we're really starting to use them in all of our builds. And the reason for that is just because, you know, we've seen sticks come up through there. You've literally got a piece of plastic between you and the front tire, kicking up sticks. Nice. Moving back to the very back, AJK has a really cool slide-out bed tray. The bed tray, and it's really robust. AJK also makes pack-out mounts that having the pack outs in there and able to slide them out is just so cool. I mean, so accessible.
Definitely adds to the multi-purpose nature of this machine for that.
It most definitely does.
Also back there, I know we have an AJK exhaust cover too.
We do. We've got an AJK exhaust cover. It fits the factory exhaust. This one's really nice aluminum. It goes really well with the front grille. Yeah. So Travis, how did you mount the tire back there like that? Looks great. The tire rack that we use is from DRT Motorsports. Nice. DRT has been an outstanding partner for us. Fits the machine very, very well. They did a very nice job designing that rack. It sits up high enough. It allowed me to stack those pack out mounts under there with that AJK slide out drawer.
Going back to trail armor a little bit, we have factory UTV skid plates. We gotta brag on this one a little bit, right?
Yeah, we do. And we gotta brag about factory UTV and our friends over there. They're awesome partners. When we reached out to them, they weren't quite done with it yet. There were some final details that were still needed. We were able to collaborate with them a little bit.
For the oil door too, right?
The oil door, location of the oil door, the size of the oil door and everything. Small little door that has plenty of access to get your arm in there and access that oil filter. So it's perfect.
Travis, one of the awesome standout features on this thing is definitely the lighting. Let's go over all of that. A lot of KC, but other brands too. So let's first talk about the KC Highlights 50-inch light bar you got.
Okay, I was like, man, I'm gonna cram as big of a light bar on that thing as I can, because let's face it, we all love lights. You can't have enough lights.
Of course.
I think it fits this machine extremely well. The other thing that's really cool about this 8-pod light bar is you can actually adjust it however you want. And depending on where you want to mount it and whatnot. So you get it close, and then, you know, if you want it to be curved, then you oversize it maybe just a little bit compared to where you're going to mount it. Otherwise, you can make it straight, all in one bar.
And to brag on our guys in the shop a little bit, those are not off-the-shelf brackets on the sides.
No, they are not. Those are fabricated right inside our shop. Our technicians are not only excellent technicians, but they're also fabricators. And we often find ourselves, you know, sometimes you got to build stuff, you know, to make stuff work. And so yes, we did have to make some light brackets because the bar's so big. We also mounted it in the center.
Moving away from KC for just a little bit, because we have more KC stuff to talk about, is the Corbin turn signal kit.
Okay, yeah, Corbin turn signal. So super clean, super easy. We're using the Sector 7 prism mirrors. We utilized the mirrors for turn signals. That was Chris Corbin's recommendation to me, actually. He had built a Xpedition, and in the back, he just utilizes the tail lights.
So moving around, we got essentially more KC lights all the way around. So you got Era 4s in the front, smaller lights as a backup light, and then the C Series C2 lights.
Yeah, so the C2, they're 20-watt flood, right? They're just really meant to be like, you know, we call them scene lights, but you could think of it too as, in a situation like this, you can think of it as like a yard light. On the front bumper, we went with the Era 4. And then on the rear, we did the Era 1. And the difference between the 4 and the 1 is the fronts are a larger light with 4 pods. And then the Era 1s on the back are just for backup lights.
So is there anything else to add with the Sector 7 prism mirrors?
Absolutely. There's a switch on the inside. It's a multi-function switch. So those mirrors, they're 120 watt for the main lighting, and then they've got what they call a turbo mode that bumps them up to 200 watts, 2,400 lumens. And then on the outside, around the main lighting is like a multi-function daytime running light. Any color, quite frankly, any color you want. It's kind of similar to like lighted whips.
And to run all of this stuff that we've been talking about, we've got hooked up from Switch Pros.
So Switch Pros has an 8 switch unit and then a 12 switch unit, but we ended up mounting it up in the headliner. So most of the accessories on this build are on the Switch Pros, and we still have some available space. So we're gonna have to find some more things. We got to load that puppy up. So
our fire's going crazy. All right, Travis. So Polaris says they set this up for a nice plush, you know, suspension with 20 inches of travel. So what were our goals to kind of take it even further?
We noticed that pretty quick, that it was definitely a little more top heavy than what we're used to. 64 inches, which, you know what, 64 inches is great. There's a lot of areas where you don't want to be wider than that. It just so happens for us that, you know, we don't have necessarily any width restrictions.
Right.
So we can go wider, and we chose to widen it out. We went with HCR's Mid Travel Kit. It takes it from 64 inches to 72 inches, quite a bit more stable, obviously being quite a bit wider. Going back to the plushness from the factory, we did not see a reason to change out the shocks. Polaris has went with the Fox QS3 shocks on the Xpedition from the factory. With this build, it was a no-brainer that we were going to need springs for a number of reasons. MTS, they collaborated with HCR for this Mid Travel Kit and released a spring kit. Definitely gained some ride height out of it. So far, it's money.
So we do have the factory Fox shocks, but we do have an upgrade to them with the NRP Gen 2 shock high volume end caps.
From the factory, you know, the way that you control the nitrogen in the shocks is by sticking a needle through basically a piece of foam, and it's not only difficult, and most people aren't going to have that needle, but also what we've seen is they tend to leak. NRP came up with a solution, higher volume cap as well. You can actually put a little bit more nitrogen in, and then you can control the nitrogen level with a standard Schrader valve. Funny enough, it's one of the first things that we all do. Moving
directly from there to the wheel and tire setup.
Yeah, so wheels and tires. So the wheels are the Method 415s. It's a newer wheel from them. Okay. We went with the 15.7. They have a 5.2 offset. Also gave this just a little bit wider stance than the factory. The factory wheels are closer to a 6.1 offset, and so we gained a couple inches. The tires are the Obor Rocscrapers. We went with the 35 10-15s. Yep. Let me tell you, actually, when we took the machine up in stock form, shoved the Obor Rocscraper 35s on it to take it up on the snow run. You know, we had to be a little bit careful here and there, but those tires performed so well. They blew me away. It was the first time I'd ran them in the snow. I've ran them at Sand Hollow down in Utah, and they did extremely well down there. They are super smooth on the pavement. You know, this Xpedition is truly all season for me. Yep. Multi-purpose. I am going to run it down the pavement, and I know that tire is going to perform extremely well for me, you know, in all terrain.
We've got some pretty awesome performance upgrades to obviously handle these much larger tires and everything. Number one we got here is the Gilomen Xpedition 1000 Performance ECU Tune and Clutch Kit.
Clutching and quite frankly, in my opinion, tuning. Clutching for sure though is critical. Yes. When you increase the tire size as much as we did here. We went with the super clutch kit on this build because I'm just power hungry. I wanted every bit of performance I could get out of the thing. So far I don't think it's any louder, at least in the XP model, it's any louder than the factory clutch. So I'm super happy with it. The engagement is outstanding. My favorite thing about the tune, and one thing I really noticed when we did that snow run, you know, we were in some pretty deep snow. From the factory, low is limited to 27 miles per hour. I can't remember exactly what RPM I was running at 27 miles per hour, but I knew it had a lot more. I think it was like 6,500 RPM or something like that. Gotcha. And I'm like, holy cow, we're leaving a lot on the table here. With the Gilomen tune, low is raised to 45 miles per hour, basically before you hit the rev limiter at 9,000 RPM. Okay.
Well, guys, if you're enjoying this video, hit the subscribe and the like button to help us out, and leave us a comment about what you would do if you were to build your own Xpedition. Hey, let's move on to the interior.
Let's do it.
Awesome. All right, Travis, you want to give us a tour of the interior?
Absolutely. Let's start with the Viper shifter here. Sure. So these are so awesome. So this is a billet aluminum shifter. It's also a gated shifter. The cool thing about this is you can go from reverse to low, which for us is a big deal. We're moving between reverse and low quite frequently, especially like in the snow. Gotcha. And then you move it over again and you can pop it back into high. Grinding gears is easy, very easy to do, because
if you can't find them, grind them.
Exactly. Getting in between gears just tends to be a common issue, and so this really helps ensure that you're actually all the way into the gear that you're looking for. The radio, let's talk about the radio real quick. So Rugged Radios, M1 radio kit. They've got a full kit for the Xpedition. They have an external speaker that they have a bracket that comes off here, and you can mount the external speaker right there, which is critical for me because I have a hard time hearing, especially when I'm inside, you know, one of these machines. I was super excited about that, but then when we decided to put the Switch Pros here, we were forced to relocate that speaker. And so we put the speaker back here. You can see we've got some holes here.
Oh, nice.
We've actually got a grill coming.
Cool.
It didn't quite make it in time, but there's going to be a grill to cover that. But the speaker's right back here.
Moving on from there, we got some creature comforts with heated seats.
Yeah, so, you know, had to put some heated seats in this thing.
Of course.
You know, these are the factory Polaris seats. They're actually really nice seats. Quad Logic makes a really nice kit.
We also got a fire extinguisher right here.
Yeah, so, okay. Tech 208, this is a Tech 208 fire extinguisher mount here, and then this is just a, you know, your standard fire extinguisher. There's no O-rings to wear out. The thing doesn't rattle. We've never had one rattle ever. We've got a SuperATV brake lock. A lot of people call it a parking brake. Okay. You know, it's not technically, it's not a parking brake. It's more of a brake lock, but it uses factory mounting locations and whatnot, and it just locks the brake pedal down.
Nice spacious back seat.
Yeah, they're huge in the back. I mean, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about this machine.
There's your heated seat control right there.
Yeah, so these are the heated seat rocker switches.
Well, this is awesome, Travis. Is there anything else we want to take a look at?
Absolutely, but they're buried under the front seat. So we're gonna have to take the front seat out and get a better look.
There we go. What do we got?
Full throttle batteries, dual battery kit here. We put this together. The guys in the shop developed these brackets. These brackets are available on our website, fueledutv.com. And what we have here is we have a full throttle FT560 as well as a full throttle FT410.
Okay.
Dual battery kit, critical with all the lighting and everything we have going on in here. The fact that, you know, we're probably going to be running some of these lights at night without the machine running, critical component for us. And so we were excited to develop this dual battery bracket. The Xpedition, if anything, the Xpedition's going to need some dual battery power. So
I see something blue.
Yeah, so ARB compressor. We were able to mount an ARB compressor in here as well without any issue at all. The only concern we had about mounting this ARB down here like this is, you know, for fording water, and this fills up with some water, we remote mounted the intake to the compressor up in the up in that corner right there behind the headliner. You can't even see it, but it's if we're taking water into the compressor at this point, we probably have bigger problems. So
because so are you.
Yeah. I'm taking in water too. That's exactly right.
Well, Travis, congrats on an awesome new machine. Any final thoughts?
Oh man, I'll tell you, I am just so stoked to just take this thing out on the trail.
Yes.
That's basically where I'm at. I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out. The guys in the shop did a great job building this thing out for me. All of our partners, great partners that we have, the manufacturers of all these great accessories that we've put on this thing. Man, it's ready. It's ready for me and the family to go out and have some cool adventures.
Well guys, thanks for watching this video. Hit the subscribe button for more build breakdowns, product highlights, and adventures. So until next time, this is Jason and Travis with Fueled UTV, and we'll see you out on the trail.
Look at that.